And welcome back. We are here again with the D and C rank versus AI tournament. With me casting is LetaBot. LetaBot, hello.
Hello Navata, good to see you again and hear you
Okay,
again.
always good to hear. I am going to start the first replay now, and we can talk a bit more about the tournament and our sponsors later. And I'm going to start it in 2, 1, and go. First game we are having is, and I'm going to have to restart this because the overlay isn't working, or I'm just going to go with it. Just going to go with it. Yeah, we've got in the top left, we've got with the name of LetaBot, and that bot is actually Tyr by Simon Prince, also from the Netherlands. The Netherlands are growing to be an AI or brute war AI mainstay, with two of the better bots hailing from there, and of course my humble self doing the casting. And at the bottom left we've got as the Red Terran a human player, and he's called In a Truck, with not quite In a Truck like spelling. So LetaBot, what are we going to see from Tyr this game?
Well, basically, In a Truck is a random player. So basically, what Tyr does, one of the problems you see on the ladder is you see it happen quite a lot. That is the fact that there are a lot of like 4-pool bots out there. And my bot also started out as a wash bot as well. So that's something to consider, of course. So because of that, Tyr is going for a very safe early Rex build. Basically, he's going to build some marines as fast as possible. No, not as fast as possible. As fast as possible while still having some kind of economy. So it's an 8 Rex basically. That is used to prevent anything from a barracks supply to a 4-pool or a zealot wash. It's very effective against all these early wash strategies. And you can also use the marine to scout a little bit, because basically you've got enough marine production at the early game to hold off just about any rush. So instead of sending an SCV to scout out, you can basically use your initial marines to scout out a little bit. Although sending out both of them might be a little bit excessive. But anyway, well, since this is the scouting phase anyway, it's not that much interesting going on. I'm going to talk a little bit more about our sponsor, Zectronic Industries.
Oh yeah, sure.
Basically, right now I've mentioned the commercial games, but there are also some free games available which give you a bit of a taste of what these commercial games are like. So, for example, you have the Codex of Alchemical Engineering. Just search for the Codex game or the Codex Flash game, and you'll find it online on websites like Congregate. It's basically some kind of bit of a puzzle game where you have to basically assemble. You basically make some kind of assembling machine in a 2D grid. Very fun puzzling game. It teaches you a little bit about programming as well. Another game that they have, which might be interesting for some people who may not know, they have Infiniminer, which basically is the predecessor to Minecraft, so to speak.
Okay.
Because Notch, the developer of Minecraft, got inspired by Infiniminer to actually make his own Minecraft. And Minecraft sold like millions of copies.
Yes, I know it's very popular.
Yeah. So basically, all of that, not all of it of course, but the inspiration, Infiniminer, you can play it for free as well on the website. So Zectronic Industries is basically what later became the company that developed Infiniminer. So that's also interesting. And then you also have the Bureau of Steam Engineering. Basically what you're doing there is you're building combat bots, but you have to assemble the parts yourself. It's based on steam and pressure valves, so that's also quite interesting. You have a Rückingenieur. That's basically about circuits, chips. You have to basically determine how those chips work.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit about electronics and integrated circuits. And lastly, as a game, you have the Russian word for engineer, I guess it was. Yeah, and I'm not going to spell out. Yeah, you
That
can
can
look
be
at the
pretty
site
difficult,
itself.
yes.
You can look at the site itself. That teaches you a little bit more in depth about circuits, about the PNP and the NPM logic gates. It's basically
Okay.
a game about PNP, NPM logic gates. So basically, most of the games on Zectronic's website, both commercial and free, they're about learning some engineering principles, mainly programming, but also some electrical engineering. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
What's also
seems
quite
like a good
interesting is,
combination.
what's also quite interesting, going back to the game now, is Tier basically it's not very good against random players. Like most bots suffer a little bit from random playing against random, and
Yes,
Tier is no exception. He doesn't really know how to play against random, as you can see.
I can see that it's got 700 minerals stacked at this moment in the game. So that's not too good, is it?
No, but basically, this version of Tier at this moment, I don't know if it's fixed right now, but this version didn't really have that much of a strategy against random players, and because of that, you see this kind of behavior basically. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's quite funny, but we should explain that these AIs have got at their disposal a single processing core of about 2.5 gigahertz and 4 gigabytes of RAM. And if you compare that to the human brain with about 300 billion neurons, that's quite a difference. So perhaps it may seem silly that if the opponent is not Protoss, human, or Terran or Zerg, that it will start flapping about and doing silly things like this. But that is a very it happens quite often. These kind of things where you would say, well, any kind of fruit fly would adapt to that, but if you are coding from scratch, it takes an instruction to deal with that. And there are AIs which will just pick a general build order, but some AIs just don't seem to manage, like this one, Tier from Simon Prince, now with 1500 minerals stacked and only building marines of one barracks. So now the vultures for the human player in a truck moving out and killing off some marines. LetaBot, are you still there? I'm getting some kind of a Skype error, I think. LetaBot, are you there? What the...
You there?
Yeah, we are back, I think.
Yeah, okay, well, basically this game isn't really
No.
difficult on, so you can keep the errors in a little bit if you want. I'm not sure what happened between what you were saying.
No, I think just Skype balked out, and I was explaining about how human players and other organisms deal with unknown situations, and brutal AI bots sometimes have difficulty in doing so.
Yeah, okay, just leave it in there. It's not that big of a problem. Basically, this game is going to end very soon. I think we can go for fastest times 2. You ready?
Yep. Okay, go.
Yeah, go.
And I've got that Storm plugin enabled, which allows me not to see how when the replay is going to be finished. We are now at the 8-minute mark-ish, and there are some tanks rolling up to the main base of Tyr. And I think that this is going to be it, because Tyr has now got almost 3k minerals stacked, only one barracks, and only supporting that barracks by building supply depots, and the other marines are just crawling all over the map in a truck, being very careful, and only sending a couple of marines up to scout with the siege tanks in the back, not really knowing what's going on, haven't scouting the base for quite some time. And as soon as he will push in, now building an eBay in the natural of Tyr, that's crazy. And look at all the SCVs. It's just been building SCVs and marines of one base and one command center continuously. That's crazy.
Yeah, but basically what TRX is, basically it needs to connect its modules that handle PVZ, PvP, and PvT. Once it spots the random player's race. That's basically what my bot does. Well, it doesn't do it right now. The bot that's on the ladder right now, for these bots, it still goes for worker rush. But I've already got in place where basically if it spots the player,
Mm-hmm.
race, once it plays random, if it spots the race, it immediately switches the modules to make sure that it goes for the plays standard like you would against the third quota.
Okay, that's all.
You kind of need to do that as well.
Yeah, GG. Inner Truck gets kind of a free win, but of course those also count. Now going into the second replay of this set, and I am starting that. Are you ready, LetaBot?
Wait, that's yeah, it's price 0, and yeah, we can start right now.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, we've got again Inner Truck, and as the AI player playing under the name of LetaBot, because LetaBot is the player hosting these games, it is Crazio by Krasimir Kristev. And Krasimir, if you are listening to this, I still, after all these years, haven't really managed to pronounce your name correctly in Bulgarian. And that is, I like that about the Brood War AI community, that there are so many players from all over the world, but as soon as I will have to pronounce Russian names from French people or Bulgarian names, I somehow reach the limits of my linguistic capabilities, and that is sometimes hilarious or frustrating for the players involved. So Crazio, sorry, but I'm just going to keep calling you Crazio, because I don't really speak Bulgarian, sorry. So LetaBot, in a truck we saw earlier, where he did a kind of one base, two factory push. What can you tell us about Crazio?
Basically, Crazio is a very mech-oriented bot. Unlike Tyr is more of a bio-focused bot. Against CVT, it actually goes for mech as well, but it still has a bit of an early game bio play, basically to counter out any kind of early game pressure. But Crazio, it's very mech focused, and the thing about going mech as a Terran is it works in every matchup. On some maps like Titan, might have a gap grade, but even there, if you have like the APM of a bot, macro, it still works somewhat. But on maps like Fighting Spirit that we are on right now, you can definitely go for a mech build, especially PvP of course, but the other matchups as well. So the thing is, Inatuk is a random player, but since Crazio goes mech anyway, regardless of the matchup, basically it does build, it plays very decent against random as well. It doesn't go like Tyr, it doesn't have a module against random.
Okay. So this time we will see what Crazio is capable of, and hopefully see a good match.
Yeah, basically both players going for the standard 1 Rex, gas, most likely into factory as well. Because I highly doubt that anything else will work. Right, well, Crazio actually
going for an eBay.
Yeah, well the thing is, in bot games, denying scouting is something that bots are quite capable of. My bot was actually capable of defeating Celle, a C-level player, with a deep 6 build.
Oh really?
The reason why it did that, was because it actually managed to deny the scouting very well. That's something bots are still very good at. You can deny scouting from the opponent and then go for some bit of a risky play, either very greedy or very all in. That is, as you might have seen from the LetaBot game, that is how they usually defeat C-level players. Basically, they catch them by surprise, so to speak.
Okay.
But in Terran versus Terran, there's a very huge defender's advantage. If siege tanks siege up, they do a lot of damage. Basically, doing these like cheap tricks, not going for a surprise attack. It's not that effective in PvP. That is also why my bot has not yet defeated a C-level player as a Terran yet. Only as a Protoss and I think so as well.
Okay.
Basically, what Crazio Zero does is it's basically more bot versus bot focused, Crazio Zero. And because of that, it builds an engineering bay. Because that way, it can scout the enemy base for sure. Because it has a lot of hit points. It takes a lot of hit points to get the engineering bay down. And that scouting information is crucial in bot games as well, because the one base all-in bio build actually is a viable rush if you build full SCVs as well, SCVs.
Yeah.
and your own bot doesn't have the modules to defend against that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a bit of a crazy build, but the bot doesn't have the modules to defend against that, then you will lose anyway. So
Yeah.
that's why Crazio builds an engineering bay and floats it over to the opponent.
Okay. So as long as the enemy
Basically,
is coming in a straight line down the middle, he will scout what's coming at you.
yeah, and he also goes for an early defense, a bunker. Basically, just about all of the top bots right now, and Crazio is a top bot,
Mm-hmm.
they have some kind of early defense build. Either they build a bunker really fast, or they scout a lot earlier. Because there are a lot of, like, as I said, a lot of Warpool bots, a lot of Barracks Dash Fly, Zealot Rush, a
Yeah.
lot of crazy builds out there from lots of different bots. So you want to either defend against it early or spot it early so that you can adjust your build order. So, and basically what Crazio Zero is doing is, if I recall correctly, it's using the same build order for just about every matchup, maybe some slight variations,
Mm-hmm.
because I also see a missile turret, so
Yeah, there's a lot of
very,
turrets.
so it's very static in that regard. But if you play against bots, the advantage is that it's good against random. It's basically you can got a very decent play against just about every matchup, and this is more a general purpose thing. It's very useful if you want to play bot versus bot games.
Hmm.
So that's why Crazio Zero is usually very at the top, because it's very good at bot versus bot because of its general approach.
Okay, and as we see now that the human player in a truck is doing a one siege tank aggression and the SCVs are not repairing the bunker anymore, so that's strange. Meanwhile, Crazio going for more turrets, and I do think that he could be better off with more siege tanks, because now he's got 2 siege tanks in the choke of his natural. eBay is now scouting out the enemy base, but by the looks of what you've got in your natural, you can also figure out. Ooh, and I do think that Crazio has got the high ground advantage now, but this is a bit of a stalemate. And
Yeah,
with the scouting barracks coming, these siege tanks of inner truck will have the scouting range advantage, and I think that no, it's a stalemate once more. And Crazio survives with 1 tank. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Inner truck moving up and killing off the tank with the SCV. That's pretty BM. That is pretty BM. So it seems like Crazio is folding under the initial pressure, because there are now 2 tanks in the natural, 2 tanks of inner trucks in the natural of Crazio, and inner truck has got a 2 base economy while Crazio is still on 1 base. And going for Goliaths and the range upgrade for Goliaths, that is strange. I don't know why that is. These kind of defensive tank positions, are AIs at all good in breaking those, or do they have a strategy for that, or how do they do that?
yeah, but the thing in PvP, especially turn versus turn, positioning is very important. And as
Mm-hmm.
I said before, the bots have a bit of a problem with positioning, and PvP is no exception. I mean, you can defeat TSCMU as well by basically you set up a contain with your own tanks.
Mm-hmm.
The TSCMU has quite some problem breaking out of it because dropships are very, very position dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, yeah, contains like these bots have quite some problem with that. And in general, early pressure is still quite useful against bots, even though even though there are, even though bots build against early pressure,
Mm-hmm.
if you go really, really really some kind of very odd builds with some very, very all-in style one-base play, you still do a lot of damage against bots because even in the early game, positioning is still quite important.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you don't have a lot of units, there's still abuse the fact that the bot doesn't really have positioning quite well figured out.
Okay,
As you
but
might see right now, Taisho, he still managed to
he managed to break it.
yeah.
That's
So
very impressive.
it's not like Taisho is completely hopeless. It's just that it costs a lot of minerals, a lot of gas. They can break it, but it's not very efficiently.
No, but as a
So
human player you wouldn't either. So that is, I say, very well done.
yeah, so it could have gone a lot worse, definitely. So Kaisho it managed to play quite well with the micro that it has. So right now you've got a bunker as well at the front, so that keeps the new siege tanks at bay, so you won't get contained as fast again. But he does have to put the siege tanks close to his bunker as well, because otherwise he's going to get into a bit of a problem again.
And he needs to build a command center and fast, because he's now already lagging 13 supply. And there is a third base coming up for the human player, so this is only going to get worse.
Yeah, so basically his expansion got delayed, and yeah, basically right now he kind of has to expand, yeah, but instead he's going for more factories, which isn't that bad as well, considering that he's having some problem getting contained. Oh, and he's keeping an expansion. Look at the.
He took the third.
Yeah.
Very good.
Actually, I'm not sure if he did it intentionally or not, but whatever the case may be, it's quite useful if it doesn't get scouted. But unfortunately, it gets scouted. If it didn't get scouted, that would have been a way to break out of the contain. Basically, you go, instead of going head on, you go around it, basically.
Yep.
And yeah, but unfortunately it gets scouted, and because of that, Casio's now in a bit of trouble.
He's in a far bit of trouble indeed. He can't really move out, and there is a tank of inner trucks, multiple tanks of inner trucks are going to raid the third. And they are going to kill the SCV building the third, and now it is, well, it can't be lifted either, so that's a huge problem. Crazio now moving out to defend with a lot of SCVs, but the tanks are in position and they've got the high ground, and oh god, this is going to be ugly. This is going to cost Crazio quite a lot. That is not good. The SCVs move back to base, and Crazio now taking the natural again. That's a good choice. But he's now more than 40 supply behind. That is not good. Can he finish his command center? Could lift it. I don't know if he's got the code for that. But these 4 tanks have got everything, and now even building a missile turret in the third of Crazio's. That's crazy. So I think this contain is going to be it.
Yeah, we can go to the fastest times 2 now.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, basically what's going to happen right now is basically human players got a very good contain on him, and unless Crazio has dropship, he has dropship micro as well. He does have from time to time, but I highly doubt that it's good enough to break this contain. And there are also some missile turrets as well. So, and actually
there is a drop coming.
Human players actually going for drop.
Yep.
So not only is Special going to not break this contain with drops, he himself is going to get dropped, and yeah, that's going to be very costly for him. Yeah, that's going to be the match.
Yeah, because there's tanks at the front, and now we've got 5 siege tanks in the main, which all got range on the production, on the supply depots, and on the armory. I can't see this going very well for Crazio anymore. The SCVs transfer, that's very good. So Crazio does manage to save most of those. But again, you've got a 1 base situation, and the human player is now at 3 bases. A lot of factories, got a lot of minerals stacked. Building more dropships, and yeah, what can you do? I think you can make a last-ditch effort, but now the main is about, the natural is about to be broken. We've got 1 marine with 5 HP in a bunker, which dies now. 2 siege tanks on the high ground, which have got good position on lots of things, but being sandwiched is not going to do their health a world of good. There goes one, there goes the other, and Crazio is now out of units. Oh, we've got 1 tank left, and what is it going to do? It's got 4 kills. So we've got 1 siege tank with 5 kills, 6 kills now, 7. Oh, that is really doing a number. 8 kills, 1 siege tank, but now the drop of in a truck is going to land right on top of it and take care of that. So I think this is the match. And LetaBot calls the good game, and that's actually not the human LetaBot, but that is Crazio with a GM script in action. So that's very well done. So again, games for the human players. And
it's quite a game. But LetaBot does show that he's quite capable of handling random players. So, no, some bots struggle against it. LetaBot does know how to play against random, so that really helps him a lot against bot players. So yeah,
let's
quite a wise.
Let's get the third replay in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting it now. And we have got TSCMU, and TSCMU is, I think, and I don't know if you agree with me on that, is the best AI we've got at the moment.
Definitely against human players. Yeah, definitely versus human players. Now this is me chatting. Basically, there's another observer in the game, and basically I'm telling them to keep the observer chat to allies only.
Okay.
That way the replay won't fill up with the...
with them telling dirty jokes and things like that?
Yeah, things like that. You don't want those in the chat.
No. So, the human...
No, I recall correctly. Oh yeah, but I was talking to the observer. The observer wanted to talk to me, and well, that's why I'm saying, how do you chat to allies only?
Okay.
Basically, I'm allied with the observer, and I'm talking to him about things like tips and tricks like that, because he is a high-level player, and he was going to give some advice about he was going to give some advice about how to build bots, things like that.
Okay, well that's also pretty nice, and that's why we like these AI versus human games. Not only because the humans would like to play against good bots, but also because we'd like to improve our bots to be able to take on humans better. As you may or may not know, my dear audience, the competitions for AIs we've got are mostly AI versus AI only, so that's why I'm personally being very thankful towards LetaBot for hosting these man versus machine tournaments, which are very interesting. And we are even winning some games this time, that's very cool as well. So this game we've got Kumvol. Is that a German player? Do you know that?
No. If I recall correctly, let me check. This was still in a truck. Yeah, in a truck.
Oh, in a truck. Oh, Kumvol is the observer.
That's the observer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, well, basically, one other shout out, of course, is to our sponsor, Zectronic Industries. I can't shout out to them enough because they sponsored Zectronic Industries. They sponsored the prize, which is basically one of their games. You win one of the games, basically. It's not like a huge prize pool yet. Good for AI. Still has a long way to go, but every little bit helps. So once again, thank you, Zectronic Industries. You can check them out. For the most part, they make games. Basically, you can learn how to program in a very fun way. They even got some free games on the website as well to check out how exactly the games are kind of played. So make sure to check it out. Zectronics. You can search for things like Space Jam. That's their most well-known programming game. You just Google it and you'll find the website. Oh, yeah, I can see it right now. TSCMU has scouted that the opponent is going for some very early aggression. Cancels the
CC, yeah.
Yeah, it goes for the bunker. Basically, I think it expects some kind of 2-gate zealot rush or 2-gate balloon with zealots. So now it's basically rushing out the defense to hold it at any cost.
Oh, that's very impressive.
Yeah, so the thing is though that may have been, well, since it already had a bunker in the main, it should have maybe built the command center in the main and then floated over once it's available. That would have been a better choice, basically. I'm not sure what the current version does right now, But
This is quite strange because it's now only building marines of one barracks and building a lot of supply depots.
no, it's also building factories.
Oh, a factory.
Basically, how you hold off two-gate salad rush is you build a bunker in your main,
Mm-hmm.
and then you build some vultures, because vultures have this patrol micro.
Yeah.
With that, they can defeat a lot of zealots.
Vultures with 4K APM are no mean matter. But it looks like it's, if we look at the cyber core, it looks like it's going to be a goon push and nothing to do with zealots at all.
Yeah, basically it's a bit of a miscalculation by TeamLeague. It expected to get salad rush because that's very popular on the ladder,
Mm-hmm.
ladder. But human players play a little bit differently, and TeamLeague is also suffering a little bit from latency issues as well in this game, if I recall correctly, because this was not played on LAN latency,
Oh.
Battle.net latency. So TeamLeague has a bit of problem with Battle.net latency. So the marine micro that you see right there, the marine micro, it's not that optimal as well.
No, it's pretty, I've seen it better. Could do with the medic though, because there is one more goon crossing the map now, and I think that was the aggression because Inner Truck is now taking another base, going for the economic advantage. Meanwhile, this goon is getting cornered in TSCMU's base and dies. That's very good. The Vulture lives, and TSCMU promptly takes his natural again. So I must say I'm very impressed by TSCMU. Is this a new version of his, or is this something that I should have seen before?
Well, back when it was played, it was the latest version, if I recall correctly. But the thing is, well, as I said before, he should have like built a command center in his main. I'm not sure if the current version does that. But well, basically, most of these bots, mine included, they have a bit of a problem with early game aggression. So they tend to overreact to it to some extent, one way or the other. And because of that, TSMU is currently behind a little bit, but still managed to hold, unlike most other bots, who basically cracked under pressure, basically.
Yeah, and he switched back to a natural again, so it somehow detected that the pressure was over, or that the defenses it had at the moment were adequate to deal with it. And now going for siege mode. Siege mode is done as well, so I think that will shut down the goons for good. And that is going to get one on the nose, and if it doesn't move off, another one, but it runs off. And now TSC move with the turret as well, so being relatively safe against any kind of Dark Templar tech, which is not... Oh, we got a Citadel and a Robo facility coming up. So have to go and wait what Inner Truck is going to do next.
Yeah, my guess is that it's going for some, I think maybe Reaver drop or Storm drop. Looks a little bit like it, because bots, I'm not very good at dealing with those, so might be something like this. But as you said before, yeah, turrets are on the way, so Dark Templars cannot enter the base. And that's good because there are some Dark Templar rush bots out there.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. And sometimes they go very heavy on Dark Templars, so not only do you want turrets, but if you want to push out, you also need science vessels with that. But by the looks of it, Inatruck is going to play standards from here. He's going to take a turret. He's going for the observatory in case TCMU goes spider mines. And lag speed. Let's see. Yeah, so basically he's going to add more gateways. He's going for standard goon zealot army with some support units. I don't know for sure which one yet, but basically he's going to contain TSMU a little bit. The TSMU is still quite good at using its siege units. So he's pushing out very slowly but surely, going for a bit of a slow push here. And with that he might be able to put some pressure on Protoss.
Yeah, he should, because he's going to need a third. And if you're going to do a two-base push, it's going to be very late, and you've got to do something about the Protoss mining unhindered. So I know for a fact that TSCMU doesn't really use drops in its mech build, So how should it? How do you think it's going to play the game now?
I don't know if, yeah, basically Inatrick is, like I said, it's playing very standard, so he's built a pylon wall at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically what it does, pylon wall, is it stops vultures from coming down the ramp into the third base. And you have to go all the way around, and that takes longer. So basically, Inatrick is playing very standard from here on out. So he, with a bit of early pressure, he got TSMU to overreact a little bit. Now he's going for the macro advantage. Even built cannons, because he thinks that TSMU is going for some kind of vulture pressure like normal, but
Yeah, that's strange.
he also built a lot of folder.
Because normally TSC moves all over the map with vultures and mines and harassing.
Vultures, but they are out of position.
Yeah, this is not good. They are just dying needlessly to these static goons without doing any damage whatsoever. And again we see that the human player is taking up good position on the high ground at the 6 o'clock. Nothing's coming through there.
Cannons in the natural as well.
Playing it very safe. +1 weapons and now going for High Templars with the Storm upgrade. So TSCMU now taking the map with a couple of tanks, marines and a vulture, but there are too many goons and most of the tanks are lagging back in the natural. That's pretty bad because now the tanks get cut up, and the one thing you don't want as a mech player is lose your initial siege tanks. That's going to get out of control really fast.
Yeah, basically Iran took advantage of his better economy. Now it's basically, he has more units than TSMU. That's basically what it boils down to. He's got a better macro because of the detain. And
yeah, going for the natural. Or no, backing off again.
Yeah, well the thing about siege tank is that siege tanks are very good at holding a certain position. So Terran has the better advantage because of the siege tanks. So Inatrick, he cannot just push in and end the game right now. He has to play it carefully.
Yes, perhaps, but what's at the back of this? We saw a lot of Templars, and do we see a shuttle along with them? No. So Templars without transport, and another forge coming, so Inatrick being very cautious. Lots of minerals in the bank, lots of gas in the bank. 3 bases, no aggression, just containing TSMU and going for the sure kill later in the game. Oh, now moving in, broken the siege tanks. We've got one more tank behind the command center, one more tank on the high ground. But these goons are doing so much damage in a natural choke. This might also almost be the game, I think.
Yeah, basically the overreaction to the early aggression basically cost TSMU a bit of the game actually. So it doesn't matter how much ATM you have, if you don't have enough units, then well basically most of the time if you have like the same amount of units, then the high ATM helps. But the thing about StarCraft in general, not just Football but StarCraft 2 as well, is like if you have unit advantage, then you can kill off the opponent units a lot faster, so your advantage snowballs, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now to mitigate that, you've got the defender advantage in the terms of siege tanks. So with some good positioning, you can still come back, especially in Boudoir. But as I said before, bots do not have very good positioning, as you might see right here. And the siege tanks get caught. Basically, yeah, TSMU is now in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, the natural's broken. And if you look at the army count, there are 2 more tanks, 1 marine, and 3 vultures. So the natural's now broken. And there are just more units being sent over the map, and I think this is it. Although the vultures come and save the day and the High Templars have to cast a couple of defensive storms to get out of the way, but 1 vulture remains and well, quite a bit of High Templars die. TSCMU holds for now, but as you can see we've got 2 tanks, 2 vultures, and the 4th base for Protoss has started, so that is not going to go at all well. Again, the tanks die, taking a couple of goons with them. couple of observers die, but then again, TSCMU is just losing too much and is being more than doubled in supply at the moment. So I don't really see TSCMU getting out of this.
No, basically, even though he had good siege tank play, he was able to keep his defensive position. He basically didn't really have the economy to really push out. So basically, the big mistake here for TSCMU was overreacting to the early pressure. And because of that, he's now lost, basically.
Yes,
so
but I don't really see how we can blame TSCMU for that, because there is only one AI in a pool of about 60 at the moment which does a ranged goon push, and all of the other ones do a zealot push. So if TSCMU reacted to a zealot push, that is what is out there in the AI versus AI business.
the thing is, TSCMU actually has a module that can build walls. Basically, you could do the same thing as my bot does, and that is you build a wall, you go for a siege expand, and that way you can hold off both zealot rush and goon rush. That's a very safe opening. And if TSCMU is watching this, I definitely advise them to go for a siege expand if possible, because that's a very safe build that holds off all these rushes.
Okay. Well, some good insights, and that was the game. Human player Inatruck wins again. Third AI in a row he beats. So let's go into the fourth, and I think that's you. That's your bot.
Yeah, this is the what we call maybe the ace match, so to speak, because all other three bots are eliminated. This is my own bot. If you start it up, you might see it's version 0.19.
Okay, are you ready? For I'm going to start it in 2, 1 now. And what will it say? Yes. Yeah, it's an older version of your bot.
Yeah, like I was still working on influence maps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to upload those soon on the bot ladder for my cases.
Mm-hmm.
The version that I've covered here, it doesn't have influence maps. And as you might see later on in the game, it's also there's another module, but I'm not going to spoil that. Basically, if it had that module, it would have won, most likely.
Okay, but tell us a bit more about those influence maps, because you've been talking about that a lot, and I have been longing for an opportunity to ask you all about it. So, what are they?
Well, basically, influence maps, they've been used in RTS games before. Basically, you divide the map into, in my case, you divide the map into regions.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use like a 2D grid as well, but in my case, I use regions. And basically, the influence maps, they're used as an underlying representation, more of a data structure. So
Okay.
the influence maps themselves do not really reason in and of themselves.
No.
You have algorithms that can use those influence maps to basically determine where to attack, where to defend. It's basically to help out the bot a little bit with its positioning play, because it can be used for the micro as well. Basically, what you do is you assign influence, like I control this area, you control that area.
Yeah.
It's more of a simplified representation, and because of that, you can reason on it a lot faster. It's not like 100% accurate.
No, of course, but
it does allow you to reason a lot faster. And you have to consider that each of these bots, you only have about 50 milliseconds each frame to do all their moves that frame.
Yeah.
They're on like 24 frames per second. So basically, you are a bit limited in the amount you can calculate.
Yeah.
That's one of the big obstacles, because micromanagement, it's also anti-hard. Like Dave Churchill, you probably know that.
Yes.
He also did a research paper on it. Basically showed that micromanagement, it's I think it was X prime. Yeah, it's an X prime. So it takes a lot of exponential time to calculate the perfect micro, so to speak. So instead you use simplified representations to micro your units around. And also for the more higher level, where to attack, where to defend. basically kind of I have to use simplified representations because otherwise you would spend too much time, and by the time you calculated your moves, time would have already passed and your moves would have been like, yeah,
unfinished.
For a minute in the past.
Yeah. But of course, that's how organisms, like we as humans are too, we use abstractions as well. So actually, that is a very intelligent approach, so to speak.
Yeah, you definitely say so. Yeah, you kind of have to, of course, but because well, basically the thing about StarCraft is that the state space of StarCraft and state as well, it's a lot more than the game of Go. So Google DeepMind, they actually made AlphaGo.
Yes.
They had like $500 million or so available.
Yeah, that's quite ludicrous.
But they still lost one game.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're seeing here right now, my bot is going for a mech build. But it's got some early defense, as you might see.
Yep. There are some dings in the way.
Yeah. My bot suffers a little bit from latency as well. You sometimes see Marines not shooting. That sometimes happens as well. But well, I have to fix it. I think my current version is fixed. But it doesn't really matter that much because I'm building a bunker right now. And basically, like most bots, my bot actually also goes for some early game defense. And it builds filters in this case to stop resurgence.
Yeah.
So it's got a bit of adaptiveness in it. But this version is still a bit old. It's still lagging behind a little bit.
Okay, of course you don't have to be perfect, right? Because as a human player you might start out with a certain build order and then scout the enemy and notice that it's the entirely wrong build order and you've got to switch as well. So that happens a lot.
Yeah, basically, yeah, the imperfect information, the fog of war, that's something you have to deal with, whether you're human or bot, you have to deal with it. So basically you have to rely not necessarily on guesses, but on estimations. And basically you go on what you think is most likely to happen, but sometimes it doesn't happen, and basically you have to readjust your plan.
Oh, look at that, a lot of Zerglings coming in now, but will I think the Marines are in position. That's some nice blocking off this little choke. And the Lings have got speed and they're not coming through, so that's very well done.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he went for Zerg speed or not. Let's check. Basically, what he does right now, he goes for 3 hex lurker builds.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and the thing is that let me check if he knows. Don't think. No, I looked at the vision of Inatric. He doesn't know the build order that my bot is going for. That's one of the advantages of my bot. It's very good at denying scouting. So whether it is built of observers or the Zergs have the overlords, usually what they try to do is to try to enter your base. But my bot has very good reaction. Has a very good reaction time to that. It can deny the scouting. So it's Inatric. Now as the one who is basically being played, so to speak.
Yeah, he's taking a gamble.
Yeah, so now he has to play based on what he thinks is most likely to happen as well. And the thing is that the build order that I'm using right now, it's Medic, Marine, Goliath push.
Okay.
It's quite decent against this build. It's not the best build, so a little bit of a soft counter, so Inatric is still doing quite alright.
Okay.
It's still very standard for the most part in this regard.
Yes.
But if he scouts out with the Zergling, he will most likely spot the Goliath, and that will give the build order away, which was going to be revealed soon anyway, so...
that's okay. If he hasn't got the units. But you mentioned earlier that lack of scouting and fog of war, that is a bit of a difference between games like Brood War and, say, on the other hand, chess and Go. Imagine playing a game of chess where the enemy's units were under a fog of war, or Go with fog of war. That would be crazily difficult, and that is one of the big challenges for AIs to play games like Brood War, because you don't really know what the enemy is doing and you've got to anticipate.
Yeah, basically what you're referring to there is dark chess. a chess variant where you can only see where your units can move to.
Okay.
Or where they can attack. Yeah, that's a dark chess.
It already exists.
Yeah, of course it exists.
Of course, I had a brilliant idea and you're just disappointing me so badly now. But it already exists.
Yeah, basically, dark chess is basically a turn-based version. Yeah, basically. Yeah, see, the thing is, StarCraft usually gets compared to chess because of its strategic component, but it's a little bit more like dark chess. So if you're going to compare StarCraft to chess, the best comparison would be dark chess. So you can look it up on Wikipedia, dark chess.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, and in chess there's also this thing called the blitz.
Mm-hmm.
You know that? That's very fast.
Yeah.
So basically, the best way to say about StarCraft as a
Oh god, these lurkers are doing number.
yeah, like I said, the one module that my bot is missing is Mech PVZ.
Okay.
You'll notice it right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a bit of a problem dealing with it. So now,
Oh, but it's doing okay.
yeah, right now it is, but later on.
Oh, don't give it away. I haven't seen this game yet, and I'm sure the audience hasn't either.
You can already see signs of it already. That's a bit of a problem dealing with burgers.
You're taking a bit too many hits.
Yeah. The thing is though, like what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get the siege tanks to either siege or attack the lurkers because unsiege, because lurkers have less range than siege tanks.
Yeah.
Even unsiege. What you would do is you would let the siege tanks attack the lurkers. And then you use the medic marines to take out anything that tries to take out the siege tanks. But the targeting, like I haven't really put a module in there to make the siege tanks target the burgers correctly. So now they're just basically microing around a little bit, and it's got a bit of a problem right now.
And that's hard about this whole AI versus humans game, because every time you need to deal with something, you've got to write a piece of code, you've got to write a module for that. For example, map analysis, a human or a fruit fly, I've used a fruit fly before, a fruit fly knows what's up and down, and these bots do not, so you've got to tell them what's up and down. And that translates to a lot of strange things. For example, lurkers, you've got to write something to do with lurkers. And not only for tanks, but for marines and for the vultures and for the medics as well. How to deal with lurkers, and that is a lot of work because there are just so many options. All these units, all these positions, these units can take, and that must be incredibly hard.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I've tried using some machine learning as well. I've used genetic programming, micro-tournaments. But the main difficulty is, of course, the amount of, like I said before, the amount of states and the search space itself. But in machine learning algorithms, it's mainly about the state space. That even in like micro-tournaments, that only thing you do is micromanagement, it's still like more than a billion times as many states as a game like Go. Like a game like Go, it's like a board of 19 by 19. But the StarCraft maps are like 128 by 128 tiles.
Yeah.
Each tile has like 32 by 32 pixels.
That's crazy.
As you can imagine, it's a lot of states.
Yeah.
Just that even sophisticated machine learning algorithms like deep learning, they still aren't that great at micro. So even if you use machine learning to figure this stuff out, it's still not going to be easy.
No, it isn't. And those guys from DeepMind, they said they were trying their hands at real-time strategies, and they didn't really confirm which game they were going to pick, if it was going to be Brute War, or has there been news on that?
Yeah, there's been news on that. They were in talks with Blizzard about using StarCraft 2.
StarCraft 2?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pity. But of course, yeah, it's a good for them, but I mean a pity from our point of view, because we've been working on Brute War AI for 6-7 years now, and they say, oh, we'll just go with StarCraft 2. That's a bit of a downer, but it's a more popular game at the moment, so understandable.
Yeah, well, the thing is, some people are wondering why we aren't using StarCraft 2. The thing is that the terms of services basically prevent you from building a bot for StarCraft 2. And the thing is that it also doesn't really have offline mode, so you have to use the Blizzard servers.
Yeah.
And if you get banned from them, you can't play online either.
Oh, I remember those early big tournaments in America where they were screaming for LAN mode because the Blizzard servers went down in the middle of the semi-finals and things things like that. That was crazy.
Yeah, there was also the issue of no LAN latency as well. Oh, and by the way, the third base of my bot, it tried to sneak an expansion, but got spotted.
Oh god, no, yeah, good. That got
is,
shut down.
Yeah, but the thing about Good War is that this game is played on a private server, ICCup.
Mm-hmm.
It's not played on the official servers. It's also played unranked, basically, so this doesn't count as a match towards the match making. It doesn't give me any score for the matchmaking though.
No.
And the thing is, there's a new server coming soon apparently.
Yes, shield battery. That's looking very promising.
Yeah, basically that's all we can talk about right now, because basically my bot is going to lose, yeah.
Yeah, that's not really... It's not looking good, is it?
Yeah. Lurkers are a little bit difficult to boss to deal with, so to speak, because they are burrowed. The only way you can spot them is by detecting them.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing called hold lurker. Basically you prevent the lurker from attacking, and the only way to know if it's... And basically what happens then is units walk over the lurker, and then the lurker starts attacking. And basically that means that you lose a lot of units. So you need things like science vessels or prediction of where the lurkers might be to scout. Yeah, I mentioned in the chat as well, Matepp92.
So as you can see, Inner Truck is now winning its fourth time in a row. But as you see on the overlay, which has started working again, he's at 150 APM. And if I myself, I'm a horrible player for Brute War, but if I play these bots, I get beaten like a dead horse. It's not even funny. And that was the end of the replay, but we'll finish this sentence for a bit. But if you are a D+ player or D player, then you're at about the level of these bots. And I think that is quite a stretch we've come in the past few years. But the big advantage is taking out the better players. But perhaps we'll talk a bit more about that in the last series we've got today.
One thing I still want to mention is the thing, maybe you don't know, Inner Truck was still playing random, but in that game already, my bot, back then already it had some modules in place to make sure that against a random player it would switch correctly. So basically it went for a biomech build, whereas Crazio would go for mech completely.
Yeah.
My bot actually managed to switch, so it's got the build orders from Dennis Subus. He text mined the build orders from Wikipedia. So because of that, my bot knows a little bit more about how to switch once it scouts his opponent. Especially if it's a random player, it knows how to switch into a build order more focused for Zergs or Protoss or Terrans.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was a Protoss player, it would go for Goliath, because Goliaths aren't that cost effective.
No. Okay, well that's very, I say well done. And of course these games have been pretty one-sided with a good player. But we saw in the two earlier games that well, lesser adept human players can have quite a bit of trouble beating these bots. So that was a round for Team Inner Truck, I should say. That's an all kill against the AIs. Going to wrap it up. We'll be back with one more round of AI versus humans, and that is another video. So for now, thank you for watching, LetaBot. Thank you for casting with me. And going to wrap this up, and we'll be back with another video soon. Goodbye.